Spring is spectacular here at Brook Green Gardens. We'll tell you all about it coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're on the patio of the Holiday Cottage at Brook Green Gardens, which was again voted by Southern Living readers as one of the top 3 gardens in the South. And we're visiting with Liz Mansfield, a development associate here at Brook Green Gardens. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
My pleasure.
Incredible all week long to highlight Brook Green, so much of what's going on, to kick off the week with Robin Salmon and George White. An exciting week, and to top it off with you and Lizzy Butler, and it's truly a treat.
Well, we're glad to be here.
Absolutely, and to be right on the coming up with the Southern Living Garden School tomorrow.
Exactly.
Here. Should be a beautiful day, but rain or shine, folks will be here.
Absolutely. We're really looking forward to this.
I'm sure. Liz, can we talk about yourself? Were you originally from the area?
No, Greg, I'm from Hamilton, Ontario in Canada.
Hamilton, Ontario in Canada. Okay.
It's just outside of Toronto.
Oh, yeah. So you're on the eastern part of Canada.
That's right.
Right. How long have you been in the States?
Since 1969.
Oh, much of the life. Yeah.
My husband and I got married, and he came down to NC State to do his graduate studies, and ended up taking a job in New York City. And for the next few years, we traveled up and down the East Coast in the textile industry for him.
What prompted you all to move to Myrtle Beach or the Grand Strand?
Well, when he was working in South Carolina, we bought a condo here and we vacationed here. And then we moved up to Vermont and still continue to come down here on vacation. And when it got too cold and snowing up in Vermont and they had a nice storm, we said, we're out of here. So we moved down to this area.
When you got to the area, was your first position here at Brook Green Gardens?
I worked in advertising before I started with Brook Green.
How long have you been a development associate here at Brook Green Gardens?
3 years.
Okay,
3 years.
Great. Great.
And before that, I was an alumni director at a college in Vermont, which, working in development and fundraising, I still had the skills to come into this job and fulfill it.
What areas of development are you primarily focused on, Liz?
I work with the Friends of Brook Green, and they're a group within the membership that help us do our fundraising and help us with membership here at Brook Green.
That's a pretty active group?
Very active group.
You're a very active group, yeah. How many members are there of Brook Green itself?
Oh, there's thousands of members. Within that membership, there's about 100, just over 100 Friends of Brook Green.
Right, right.
And the Friends started about 11 years ago, and they were started by Ann Chapman, who was a Board of Trustee member at that time. And she felt that we needed a little bit more help in our fundraising area, and needed ambassadors to go out and encourage people to come to Brook Green, encourage people to become members. And so she started with a small group of her friends, and they did the first fundraiser, which was connected with sculpture. And at that time, they brought in about $40,000. And then over the last 11 years, that has gradually grown from a few people up to over 100 people.
And you're almost exclusively focused on the Friends of Brook Green?
Correct. Correct. I do a little bit of development and help Lizzy in the membership arena, and work with the Friends to help in that fundraising. Okay.
Are the Friends of Brook Green Gardens primarily from this region?
Most of them are from either South or North Carolina.
Okay. Okay. I think it's actually, I don't know if I kicked off the week talking about it, but it was a friend of Brook Green Gardens, Sandra Hogan, who primarily came up with the idea of us spotlighting, Carolina People spotlighting Brook Green Gardens because of so many amazing things going on down here.
Absolutely. She's one of our great members. She was the co-chair of the gala last year, and she's a person that is very influential in the community and knows a lot of people and can bring a lot of people into Brook Green.
You mentioned the gala.
Yes.
The gala is one of the primary fundraising vehicles for the Friends of Brook Green?
Absolutely.
What exactly is the gala and when's it held?
It's held in May every year, the first weekend in May. And it's a 2-day event. On the Friday night, it's a curator's auction that we do at Polly's Plantation. And on the Saturday evening, it's a live auction. It's a silent auction and a dinner dance. And we have over 700 people that come to that every year.
Is that right?
It's a great event. It's a great event. The last 3 years, we've been sold out every year. And here we are in March, and I'm almost sold out again.
Spectacular.
It is. It's great.
Yeah, and how would someone go about getting to the event if you say you're not yet sold out? Is that almost exclusively for members or friends of Brook Green? Or?
That's correct. Invitations are sent to members only at a certain level. And people that have come in the last few years do get an invitation. But as I said, because it's sold out, every year we try to decide if we're going to continue to send to those people that aren't members.
How successful has the Friends of Brook Green Gala been in its, or how successful have the Friends of Brook Green been in their fundraising events?
Well, when I came 3 years ago, the year before, they had brought in $100,000 for the event. The year that I came in, they brought in $281,000.
Wow! And
then each year since, it's been over $250,000.
Spectacular!
Yeah,
that's a great vehicle for a not-for-profit.
It certainly is. It really is.
We heard early in the week, I think maybe it was yesterday, from Helen talking about how memberships are obviously a vehicle. The visitors who just come in for the day, surely buying pieces at keepsakes or the other facilities to eat here on location. But surely the Friends of Brook Green are an amazing vehicle to get out through the gala and the auction.
They certainly are. Just this week, we've had one of our friends was out and introduced us to a new member in the community, and we have brought him in at the Huntington Society level. And so those are the type of things that the Friends do in addition to working on the gala.
Have the Friends of Brook Green been involved in focusing on other goals?
Well, over the years, they take on a project, and we've worked on the rice fields. We've worked on the beautification of the entrance to Brook Green, been involved in the dogwood gardens, renovation of the dogwood gardens, and most recently we've been raising money for the pavilion.
Right, yeah. Let's talk about the pavilion. Is that what's sitting in front of us here?
It is. The last 2 years we've raised over $500,000 for the pavilion. And at one of our recent meetings, the Board of Trustees asked us if we would like to take this on as a complete project. And so we have said to them that we will put $2 million towards this project. And so we've got a long way to go, but if we continue working with the gala like we have in the past 5 or 6 years, we should have it paid off.
Yeah, north of $250,000 a year over the next few years, as well as some of the folks who will commit at some level for, I'm sure, some opportunities.
Yes.
Can you give the viewers a sense of what the pavilion exactly will entail?
Sure. Greg, this is the pavilion right here, and it's centered between the gift shop, which is in the foreground, and the welcome center on the other side. In the very front is the parking lot as you're coming in, so that when you drive into the parking, you will see the pyramids of the top of the building from the parking lot. It's all open air, and it will be able to have multi-uses because we're going to be putting curtains on some grommets from the ceiling to separate different areas so that we can have maybe 100 people in for one event and 750 for the gala next year. Right. We have a stage in the back and cooking facilities, storage, dance floor, but all open air.
Good, right there. Okay. Go ahead.
Liz, what's the construction estimate for the pavilion and how much has been raised to date?
Greg, we've raised over $500,000, and we're in the final phases of the design of it and going to construction drawing soon. We hope to break ground sometime in May and then be finished by the following spring, and we'll have our next year's gala in this pavilion.
So you'll wait till after this year's gala to break ground and then hope to house the next year's gala.
That's correct.
How exciting.
That's correct, yeah.
That'll be big for all the Friends of Brook Green members and some of the other folks that have been attending the gala over the years. And how long has the gala been in existence? You said 11 years?
11 years.
So the first year that they set up Ms. Chapman set up the Friends of Brook Green or helped us establish that, they had a gala that first year?
Well, it was more of a reception with artists that came, and probably less than 50 people attended that. And over the years, it's grown from a one-day event to a two-night event.
And you said the pavilion, when folks come in into the main parking area, of course, they'll see the check-in area and the normal location, be able to see the tops of the pyramids right back there. How exciting.
Very exciting. And the fabric that will be covering it will be a little translucent so that the light will shine up through. So it'll give a nice architectural view.
Liz, what do you think's impressed you the most about the Friends of Brook Green?
Their commitment, their passion, their love of Brook Green, and their willingness to do whatever it takes to support Brook Green either financially or in time. They're great volunteers, and they've been wonderful to work with.
And volunteers is the opportune word.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is something that they do because they're members, and they give of their time soliciting gifts, going out and talking to people, and membership.
Absolutely. Can you think, Liz, over the last 3 years of your involvement here at Brook Green Gardens and obviously being instrumental in keeping the Friends of Brook Green together and helping channel all their volunteer activities, can you think of, for you, what's the best part of being here at Brook Green Gardens?
Working with the Friends has been fabulous. I've met some wonderful people. Being at Brook Green is great just because it's so beautiful. At lunchtime we can get out and we walk through the gardens. Every season is different. Every day is different. So it's just been a really wonderful experience for me.
We're visiting with Liz Mansfield, instrumental as an associate in the development office here, overseeing the Friends of Brook Green and keeping so many of those folks focused on the gala and actually getting the pavilion underway to big success next year.
That'll be great.
Thanks again for being with us this morning,
Greg.
Liz.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to Lizzy Butler coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're on the patio of the Holiday Cottage at Brook Green Gardens, and we're visiting with Lizzy Butler, the Assistant Vice President for Development here at the Gardens. Good morning, Lizzy. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Great to be here.
Great to follow after Liz Mansfield, the experience of all week of being here, seeing what Brook Green Gardens has got to offer. It's amazing, truly amazing.
It is.
Truly exciting for you to be involved in the development office here.
It is. It's an incredible opportunity to put people together with something that is such a unique asset to this community.
And an equally exciting asset is tomorrow's Southern Living Gardening School, which will be held here. Gates open at 8:45. Folks can get in. I think there's 3 separate sessions starting at 10 o'clock.
There are 3 separate sessions. Come early if you want a seat. We'll have seats under the tent. We'll have standing room also. There's no ticket needed. Anybody can come in, and it's usually a really popular event for us.
So after they get through the gates, if they're a visitor, first-time visitor, they'll pay the normal admission fee and then get in, or if you're a member, you get in. But actually entering the tent, rain or shine,
yes,
the Southern Living Gardening School is free.
That's right.
That's fantastic.
That's right.
Lizzy, are you originally from the area?
I'm not. I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and lived there my whole life until I went off to college, and get back every now and then.
You still have family in Richmond?
I do. My parents are there. I have a younger brother who lives in Richmond.
What were you doing before you joined Brook Green Gardens?
I was at another botanic garden in Belmont, North Carolina, called the Daniel Stowe Botanic Garden, right outside of Charlotte. I was running their membership program. The garden opened to the public about 4 years ago. It opened about the time I left. And the major thrust of our activities was to promote the garden and to get people involved, mainly through memberships. So we had our work cut out for us. It's a great garden. It's growing and thriving. So it's fun to go back and visit.
It's even growing since you've left?
Absolutely.
Oh my God!
Leaps and bounds.
That's amazing. Lizzie, what did you study in school?
Well, I studied horticulture to begin with. I went to Virginia Tech, and loved the idea of being outside, getting my hands dirty, just the whole activity of it. Traveled around and did internships at several botanic gardens, and was lucky enough to spend some time in England at a wonderful garden there. I ended up at Longwood Gardens in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, and got interested in a graduate program that they run through the University of Delaware. It's a very unique program. We learned about the management side of public gardens versus the horticulture side. And that's really how I got interested in fundraising.
And when you left Belmont, what brought you to your position at Brook Green Gardens?
Well, when I was in school, having grown up in Richmond, I decided that I would love to find a job in the Southeast because I love this area. And kept in touch with a few gardens throughout Virginia, the Carolinas, Georgia, and hoping that something would become available that I was qualified for at the right time. And luckily it did. It was a case where I met Larry Henry, our director, actually while I was in school at Longwood, and found out about Brook Green through him, and did a good bit of investigating on my own. And it was just a circumstance where the more I learned about Brook Green, the more exciting it all became, and the more impressed I was, not only with what was going on at that time, but all of the future plans were great. And I'd say the same thing today.
How exciting. Lizzie, is your work in the development office here at Brook Green Gardens more diverse than your earlier experience of the botanical garden?
It absolutely is. I think the reason it's so different is because Brook Green is so much more than a garden. We have so many aspects, strong education programs, the sculpture collection, set in tremendous gardens, the wildlife park, the history of the land and the culture and the people. So many different aspects and so many different areas of interest. Really are wonderful to talk to people about.
Why do you think members are such a big part of the program offered here at Brook Green Gardens?
Members are a tremendous part of Brook Green and all the programs we offer here. We could not do what we do without the support of individuals and businesses who are members. We literally could not run Brook Green Gardens on a daily basis. Members are individuals or area businesses who choose to make a contribution to Brook Green, an annual contribution that basically supports our operating budget. They're incredibly valuable to us for that reason, and since they're such wonderful community supporters.
What are some of the options someone or a business would have if they want to become a member of Brook Green Gardens?
Well, we've got different categories. We have 5 different levels of membership, ranging anywhere from $50 to $5,000. We've got family partnerships. We have different levels that have a certain number of guest passes where you can come and bring your friends in. It just depends on how involved you'd like to be.
And corporations can buy memberships or purchase memberships at those different levels as well?
Absolutely. We do not have a separate corporate membership program. We include businesses in the individual membership program, but we have a good number of businesses who choose to support Brook Green that way.
Great. Can you tell the viewers some of the benefits that come with membership here at Brook Green Gardens?
I think that the best benefit is admission, daytime admission to the gardens. You can come to Brook Green as many times as you want in a year. You can receive discounts if you choose to take a ride on the Trekker, which is an off-road vehicle that tours the old plantation home sites. You receive a discount on the Springfield, the pontoon boat that goes out into the rice fields. Members receive guest passes when they join. Discounts in all of our food service venues, which is nice. And also, members receive discounts in Keepsakes, our gift shop. And lots of the things that are here on the set are things that have come from Keepsakes. The staff does a great job of finding really unique items from throughout the region and beyond that really relate to Brook Green's core mission and purpose. Members who contribute $250 and higher receive added benefits. They receive, this is this year's Brook Green Medallion. Members receive this every year. We have a sculptor, we commission a sculptor to make this medallion. There are only a certain number that are cast. They're only given to Brook Green members, so it's a nice piece of sculpture that people can have in their home, a little piece of Brook Green. And members at those levels receive an invitation to the Friends of Brook Green Gala that I'm sure Liz talked about. They also receive additional guest passes and opportunities to rent facilities. In addition to the philanthropy of supporting Brook Green.
Right, a not-for-profit entity.
Yes.
Donors have given so much over the years to create what we now know as Brook Green Gardens, obviously the Huntington family to kick it off.
Yes.
What are some of the projects that have resulted from some of those major donations over the years?
We've been very fortunate to have individual contributors really allow us to complete some major projects at Brook Green that just simply would not happen without their support. As you walk through Brook Green Gardens, you notice the Rainy Sculpture Pavilion, where our sculpture exhibitions are rotated throughout the year. That was the result of individual contributors. There's a Genuine Gallery and a Noble Gallery within the Sculpture Pavilion. There is the Brown Sculpture Court that houses some of our smaller pieces of sculpture as well as some of the marble pieces that can't be out in the weather. A year ago, the Low Country Center opened. That also was a result of numerous individual donors. The Low Country Trail is something that we are currently constructing. We're constructing a barn along the trail. The wildlife exhibit is the next big major project that's on the drawing board. All of these things just would not happen without support from some generous individuals.
And businesses have also donated to Brook Green Gardens. Do they donate services, or do corporations go about and supporting in both ways, both services as well as financially?
They do. Lots of times corporations will contribute in-kind gifts and services. Some businesses choose to join at a certain membership level and give an annual contribution. Lots of businesses support the gala and come and attend that fundraiser. We do have businesses that contribute to these major special projects also. And another way businesses can become involved is to become a sponsor of one of our events. And that also presents a marketing opportunity for businesses.
Lizzy, what do you think are some of the benefits that the community receives from Brook Green Gardens?
I think Brook Green is such an amazing place. It's just, it's hard to nail it down to one thing. It's a place that you can go and be surrounded by beautiful gardens. You can be walking under a huge canopy of 250-year-old live oak trees surrounded by an amazing collection of American figurative sculpture. You can go over to the Low Country Center and learn about the history of the land and the people of the Low Country. You can go out to the wildlife park and see the otters, the foxes, the ducks. It's just a tremendous contribution to the overall quality of life in this area.
Lizzie, as the Assistant Vice President for Development, what do you like best about your position here at Brook Green Gardens?
I like having a role in allowing people to experience these things at Brook Green. Whatever I can do to help people become involved here, to help the staff at Brook Green share the tremendous resources we have with visitors and with members, is something that I feel privileged to be able to do.
And Lizzie, if someone was interested in getting more information about tomorrow's Southern Living Gardening School, or learning on how to become a member at any of the levels, who would they want to contact?
The best thing to do is to call our main telephone number, which is area code 843-235-6000. We also have a web page that's updated regularly. The address is www.brookgreen.org. You can join online if you'd like to do that. You can call, you can join over the phone, you can join on site. We'd like to make it as easy as possible.
You can join online at brookgreen.org. You can call 843-235-6000, or you can just show up and join. The experience is for a lifetime. Come here tomorrow for the Southern Living Gardening School. Lizzie, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. Enjoyed
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. Get out here tomorrow, the Southern Living Gardening School here at Brook Green Gardens. And stay tuned next week to Carolina People as we interview some amazing Carolina people.